All right. It is the Tip to Tip podcast, How I Met Your Mother. Watch along with Linda.
Hello.
I staggered there because I didn't think I was recording, even though she yelled at me and was like, "We're recording right now." Um, so I'm actually not even excited about this episode at all. It, we've had four good ones, and this one was just a miss for me.
Yeah, it's just kind of mid.
Yeah, and I think later, spoiler alert, we do meet the Slutty Pumpkin. And I think that's why it gets like the How I Met Your Mother cult lore
Mm-hmm.
of and the pumpkin is a bigger celebrity. So it's kind of like a big thing. But man, the first episode isn't really or the first half of this when we get into it isn't really that great of an episode, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like this episode was necessary for future storylines to progress.
I agree.
And maybe even, kind of further the point of like Ted is always holding out hope for something.
Yeah, like he's this
Um,
hope. It was almost too rom-commy for me.
They really drove it home in this episode. Like, we know Ted is a hopeless romantic. We know Ted is the believer that's gonna like take all of the
Yes.
chances and wait their turn and, hope that the slutty pumpkin will show up. But
And
it it
how do you
almost felt
not
forced.
mention, yeah, and how do you not mention the roof when you had a whole episode on the roof and how
Yeah.
the impact the roof has that nothing with the Slutty Pumpkin had anything to do with
The
the
magic of
Slutty
the roof.
being on the roof.
Yep. Yep.
So
Agreed.
let's just jump in here and
Agreed.
as Halloween approaches, Ted plans. I like how it says Ted Mosby. Like I don't know who Ted is. As Halloween approaches, Ted Mosby plans on spending the holiday the way he does every year, waiting for a girl he calls the Slutty Pumpkin, because that was the costume she was wearing when he met her. Ted met her at a Halloween party 4 years earlier, and the two spend the night together. Ted believed that she was the one. However, after the party, Ted never saw her again and had no way to contact her. Therefore, he waits every year at the Halloween party dressed as a hanging Chad, the costume he wore the night he met her, hoping that she will show up. Although she has never shown up in previous years, Ted is feeling hopeful about this year. So like even that summary, they've only left out like two or three funny things I can think of.
Yeah, the only thing they
Um,
really left out was that Marshall was a gay pirate and not really sure if you could call him a gay pirate in 2025, but
I get to that. I'll read that second half. It goes into the Robin story and the
okay, okay.
yeah. This is just the uh, so I think this is the first time we hear the barnacle.
It is
It's
definitely
gonna
the first
latch
time.
himself to the ship.
Hmm.
Barney's storyline was pretty funny because Halloween, in my opinion, for Barney, is the perfect holiday
Right.
because he gets to be all the things he makes up in his head all year round.
Exactly. And he leads with this is the one night a year where women get to truly embrace their inner slut, which like
He
we've
says
seen.
they unleash their inner hoe bag. Everything is slutty.
We've seen that portrayed in
Mm-hmm.
so many other pop culture things. Like the
Oh
one that
yeah,
immediately comes to my mind is Mean Girls.
yes,
And like
yes.
we've also definitely seen it lived out, like
Oh
in our
yeah. There
personal
wasn't a how
lives.
that. I mean, every Halloween party I went to ever, there's an age gap where everything's slutty,
Yes.
and then there's an
Yes.
age gap where it better stop because everything's saggy. So,
It goes
um,
from slutty to saggy real quick.
so the Tootsie Roll is the only other big thing. The drink she poured
Hmm.
was the Tootsie Roll, which was what Kahlua and root beer,
Yes, Kahlua and root beer,
which I had
which
never had, by the way.
I've yet to try. I'm not a huge Kahlua fan unless it's like in coffee.
Yeah, my mom likes Kahlua, but
It's just me. The
I
one
love
thing
root
I
beer. I drink root beer floats like they're going out of style.
That's true. The one thing I do like about this episode, not from Ted's perspective, but from Barney's, um, Barney really shines as Ted's wingman in this episode
Yes,
because as frustrated as he is with Ted about not like budging and wanting to be at the roof party and not wanting to go to the Victoria's Secret yacht party, I believe it was.
Yes.
Um, he leaves and comes back and he says that it's to try and get the one girl at the roof party's phone number, but really like we all know that he's coming back because he doesn't
Leave Ted.
yeah, he doesn't want to leave
Yeah,
Ted. He doesn't want to abandon his bro if in fact the Slutty Pumpkin does show up. So I think that really speaks pretty highly to Barney's character and like his loyalty to Ted.
agreed. Part of me also thought that maybe Barney didn't have invitations to this party. He
I
said he
mean, I
had.
feel like that's also pretty reasonable. He
I
does
feel
get
like
to
maybe he
one.
just like he knew Ted was never gonna say yes, so he's like, I'm just gonna keep pushing it.
He just made up an elaborate party scenario.
This is also, I think, the first time we get a self five from Barney.
That's a good point. That's a good point. We also get a different variation of suit up
Yes,
because he throws the flight suit at
yes,
Ted and it's now flight suit up. So a lot of fun moments for Barney
yeah, a
in this
lot of
one.
Barney things. I like when this is probably the greatest part of the whole episode, in my opinion. When Ted starts to tell Robin asks who's the slutty pumpkin, and they're all like, oh, and then they
Here we
start
go
to
again.
tell his story with him because they've heard it so many times.
Yes.
I just think that's what any good group of friends does. They know their friends' stories, and it's like, oh my god, how many times are we gonna have to hear about so and so?
And they know it so well, they tell
Yeah,
it verbatim
yeah. And Ted gets
along with
so
Ted.
annoyed because he's so pumped to finally tell somebody because it's new. So yeah, it's really all that won't leave Ted. They tell a story, Tootsie Roll. Um, so then we go into I mean, wow, that was just really all I got for that.
There's not a lot of substance here. We see Ted wait.
No,
Um, we do get it solidifies in this episode that Ted is very much a dad before he's a dad because
yes,
um he's like stoked about the a cappella group on the roof and like throwing the rock symbols up and going like
Barney's like,
whoa,
what are you doing?
like he's at a rager or something. And then when Barney's like, who do you actually know at this party? And he
Right?
starts naming the people by their
Yeah,
costumes. He's like, where's front of horse guy? That guy's
yeah.
awesome. Such a dad. Such a
Which also
dad.
tells you that this is just a regular Halloween party people go to every year.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, um, so Ted loses her number that he gets on the Kit Kat. So he comes
Hmm.
home, tells Lily and Marshall about it. He must have set down this Kit Kat by the Halloween bowl, and Lily hands it out to a kid.
Yep.
And the question is, where'd the Kit Kat go?
Yeah, because he chased down a
He
kid,
chased down like he's like, oh, Kit Kat!
terrified this poor little
Yeah.
bastard. What was he,
So where'd the
Dracula?
Kit Kat go?
I don't know.
What a perfect time to do a callback when Lily and Marshall were making bets. If Lily purposely took this Kit Kat bar because they bet on if Ted would meet a girl at the Halloween party. That would have been such a good
Oh,
throwback.
that would have been a really good callback.
But yeah,
Also,
that's
we've seen Lily blow up
Ted's
several of
relationships.
Ted's relationships.
Yep.
So like that would have even been an interesting play on the whole scenario. She steals the Kit Kat because she doesn't think the Slutty Pumpkin is who Ted should end up being with.
Yes. So then we go to Ted, or we go to Marshall, Robin, and Lily. Meanwhile, Ted's friends, as if we don't know that they're friends. Meanwhile, Ted's friends, Marshall, dressed up as Jack Sparrow, and Marshall's fiance, Lily, dressed as a green parrot, plan on going to a double date with Robin, who is not dressed up as anything, and Robin's new boyfriend, Mike. Right, so Lily's like, let's meet this Mike guy. Let's judge him behind your back.
As most good friends do.
Yeah, and Robin's like, oh god, like so, like right there, you know they're not serious because she has no interest in even bringing him around.
And what I thought was also pretty interesting was Lily said, "Hey, let's all do a Halloween double date." And then that's when Ted shows up at the bar and Robin immediately goes, "Ted, what are you doing for Halloween?" Like it
Oh
almost
yeah,
it almost felt like she was trying to find a way out of doing this double date with this Mike guy,
yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense to me
which we
for sure.
see during the double date that she like
Yes.
clearly doesn't know how to respond if
So
she does like the
yeah,
guy.
so then Lily and Marshall, the other big part is this costume. Every year they win or come close to winning, or they got some big concocted costume. They treat the costume contest as Ted treats his first dates.
Yeah, really.
True love.
They treat the costume contest the way we treat WrestleMania.
Yes. So they were ready to go. So Robin is embarrassed when she notices that Mike has dressed up as Hansel, even though they agreed not to dress up. And she's like, "Oh, I really got to do better with my tone in email, or you can't understand my tone in email."
Yep.
So that was funny. And then so this dude's dressed like Hansel, and she's just like, "Okay, well, this is weird. I thought you got it. Like, I'm too cool. She's too cool for Halloween," is how Ted put it.
Which again
Ted,
is super funny, because at the very beginning of the episode, future Ted goes, "You know how Aunt Robin loves Halloween and dresses up in all of these crazy costumes?" Yes. So like it kind of at least for me, it resonated with how impactful the four of them are on Robin's life that we just haven't seen yet, because future Ted alludes to like Robin didn't really care for Halloween. She thought getting dressed up was kind of cheesy. And then later in life, she changes her mind and, enjoys the silly, cheesy stuff.
Which I think happens a lot with Robin.
It definitely does.
Group as a loner, an outcast, and she's seeing how these people live, and they're just like, we like doing that. Like, it's don't act like you're too cool for it. Don't act
exactly.
Like
textbook, don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah. And she sees other people having fun with it. Even if people are making fun of them, they don't care. They're going to do what they love to do.
Exactly.
So Robin is embarrassed when she notices Mike is dressed up as Hansel, even though they agreed not to dress up this year. They go to the bar, but Marshall and Lily realize that Robin is not interested in Mike. So, like, in my opinion, I wrote here, Mike's way over the top, too. Like,
yeah, so over the top. So over the top.
Yeah, we finish each other's. And she's like, yeah, beer. Like, he's like watching Lily and Marshall and trying to project this 2-day relationship into a 10-year relationship.
Right. Because they even say, like, oh, well, we've been seeing each other for a couple of weeks. Nobody is that overbearing. Well, I mean, I guess some people are that overbearing in a 2-week relationship. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna go there.
Yeah.
But like, the only word that comes to my mind when you think about this Mike character is cringe.
Yeah, very, very cringe, very take a bite of my whatchamacallit. And Robin's like, dude, I want to eat my own food. Like, get the fuck out of my face.
Right, yeah. Which, like, I could see both sides of it, but also, like, if she says no, put the fork down.
I very much watching this scene with all four of them felt like I felt when I used to watch you and Tim do shit like that. Like, oh my God, what are you two doing?
Like, just give it a rest.
Right. I'm like, good Jesus.
Yeah, but like in my own defense, Tim and I did that like 2 to 5 years into a relationship, not 2 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, and also what's not bad is like Tim would be like, try this. It wouldn't be like Mike was like, here, puppy Robin, try this piece of food. Like, it was just weird. Like,
exactly.
Also found it very weird that they're like taste testing each other's food and shit. They've been to McLaren's like 800 times. They know.
How do they not know?
Right?
Yeah.
This would be like us going to fucking scoreboards and being like, what's the burger taste like? Tastes like stale bread and raw meat. What do you mean? How is a hot dog? It tastes like a hot dog. Like,
yeah, it tastes like a fucking hot dog.
How are the chicken wings? Deep fried. I don't know. So I just thought it was like they were at a 5-star restaurant.
That's a really good point, though. Unless for whatever reason, and like again, this is us just like building our own lore to this episode because this episode didn't give us enough.
Yeah.
Unless McLaren's had like Halloween specials.
Yeah, I mean
that's what they were all eating.
Yeah,
but like.
Just... So, Lily tells Robin. So Lily pulls Robin aside, or they go to the bathroom, or whatever the hell it was. She tells her that they need to do couple things with each other. You know, such as holding hands. Because he goes to hold Robin's hand, and Robin's like, dude, I'm eating. Like, what are you doing? Like, Also though, weird time to hold hands. Like it just
Yeah, I couldn't fault Robin when she was like, I kind of need this hand to eat. Because, like, how do you hold hands with somebody and eat a fucking cheeseburger?
right.
That's
So
usually a two-hand job.
right. I'm even like, why would you be? I just don't understand. I wouldn't be holding hands while I was eating. Like
No.
it just doesn't make sense. Um. So when Robin has trouble with this, Mike breaks up with her. So this is one of the funniest jokes, which is so stupid, and I laughed. It's probably just to me, but they're like, they're all sitting there. Robin's trying, and Lily's like, here you go, Marshmallow. And he's like, here you are, Lily Pad. And he's like, here, try this, Mike, microwave oven.
Yes.
I was like, oh, that's fucking hilarious.
That one got me too, though. And like it also kind of speaks to Robin's really not all that with
She's not,
it,
yeah, she's not good at it. She's
with the
just not.
relationship
Yeah,
stuff.
she's just she's not her thing.
Yeah.
She says that later in the episode. It's just not my. Where Ted's like, I want that girlfriend. I want that wife. I want to have those kids. I want to settle down. Robin's like, dude, I'm just trying to find my next scotch and cigar and call it the night. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
It's
just
not a top priority for her. And
right.
she makes that abundantly clear to like the
Mhm.
guys that she's seeing,
Yeah,
which
like I feel less bad. I feel less like I was real shitty with Robin in the first episode and maybe even the second.
mm,
Now getting to know her personality, I feel less aggravated with her
yeah,
because
I
she's
would agree.
just not that type of person.
I would agree.
So then Mike breaks up with her. And that was a funny line for me too. Everything good in this came from this story, not Ted's story.
Oh, I 100% agree. Honestly, after rewatching this a couple of different times, I would more so argue that this episode is about Robin.
Yeah,
It's not about Ted. This episode is about Robin and her inability to like,
love, like relationship,
yeah,
basically.
inability to relationship.
Right. With people in general, almost. This
Yeah.
group is kind of teaching her how to be a person, how to be a friend, like you
Yeah.
said, teaching her how to live life.
Mm-hmm.
So then they broke up and she says, we're breaking up. And Mike goes, no, I'm breaking up. That's what you want. You don't want it to be us. So I'm breaking up.
Yeah. Because she
And
had a huge problem with the we thing.
I was like, damn, he just grew a set of balls. If he would have had those 20 minutes ago, Robin might not have been the fucking thing.
Robin might not have eaten the entire brownie sundae.
So then, she's like, whatever. I mean, then Marshall and Lily won the Halloween costume. And Carlos, the bartender, says, and the winners are the parrot and the gay pirate. Which, to your perspective, there were a lot of gay jokes in this.
Yeah. Oh my God. So many things you could get away with in the early 2000s that you couldn't get away with now.
I don't think they weren't distasteful gay jokes because Marshall was fine being gay. He was true. He was like, he's like, if I'm the gay pirate and I won, cool.
Yeah, that's fair.
Goes, the costume was Jack Sparrow.
That's fair.
But I mean, whatever wins. He's like,
they weren't like
he wore a dress.
Yeah,
and he wore a dress prior to that, so he has no shame about.
He was Cher the year he met the Slutty Pumpkin.
But like you said, in the 90s, it was, oh, that's gay, or that's, it wasn't.
Yeah,
nobody was offended about it, and Marshall was not against being gay. He was just like, they didn't realize what my costume was. That's what he was mad about.
Right, exactly.
They could have called him anything. He was mad they didn't recognize his costume.
Yeah.
But even Robin was like, in the beginning, I covered the Halloween parade. There were so many gay pirates.
Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that part. I forgot all about that part.
Oh, that's nice. That's a, what do we call that? Foreshadowing of Marshall becoming a gay pirate.
Yeah.
So then in the end, Robin goes to the same party that Ted went to earlier. Ted is still waiting there, even though it is 2:00 in the morning and everybody else has left. Robin tells Ted that there is no chance the Slutty Pumpkin will show up. Ted admits that he knows, but that does not mean he will ever stop waiting. Robin joins him and they wait throughout the night. I feel like this is also a metaphor of Ted will always wait for Robin. Mm-hmm. He just wants her to know he will always wait.
Agreed.
What he wants. So there's a few things here. One, what the fuck was that blanket she had? That wasn't warming anybody up. It
No.
was like a scarf.
Honestly, I think it might have been a scarf.
And she's like,
I don't think it was.
Have a shimmer of my scarf so you can warm up, Ted.
I don't think it was a blanket. I think it was honestly a scarf.
So that was wild. And then I picked up that like Ted wants this miracle. Ted wants this happily ever after, this notebook story, this sit around and tell the kids about this. I tripped, fell, and your mom picked up my dropped coffee and we fell in love. And Ted's looking for the miracle, but that's just not how things work in real life.
Right.
You never know the miracle is the miracle until later.
Yeah.
Like now looking at all this, it's a miracle to Ted. That's why he's telling his kids about it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, you're just living in it. You can't know if it's good or not.
Exactly.
It's like hearing a new song. It's not a classic right away. You don't know that till years later.
Right.
And I think that's just huge. Also, they said she was eating the tiramisu and Mike was trying to eat it. And she's like, tiramisu is not a group activity.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that's like, I could be like that sometimes too. Like, just
fair.
Like, I like the lovey-dovey shit, but there's times to do it. And don't mess when I'm eating. Let's not like, you don't need to sit on my lap so I have to reach around you to eat.
Right, exactly. Like there is a point where it's kind of overkill. The thing that really, I don't want to say confused me, but I think it could have been done a little bit better is if so when Mike and Robin break up and it's before she finds out that Lily and Marshall won the costume contest, and that might have something to do with it. I don't know. Yeah. She keeps telling them, like, guys, I'm fine. Like, it's really no big deal. Like, I'm not heartbroken about it. It is what it is. And then we see a completely different side of Robin on the roof. She's very vulnerable. She even says, like, am I wired wrong? That doesn't come out of somebody's mouth if, like, they're not upset.
Because I think she didn't want to ruin Marshall and Lily's night. And she seen Ted in a vulnerable position as well.
So she felt like the roof was a safe place to be vulnerable.
So she's like, if I'm going to talk to him, if he's going to open up to me about my feelings, I'm going to give that respect back to Robin learning from this group of friends.
That's a good point. I didn't really think about it that way. Wow, this roof holds a lot of secrets.
Right. So the big issue that we both have, Robin says she didn't play any team sports but tennis, which, spoiler alert, is a absolute enormous lie. Because we see several flashbacks of her playing hockey.
Right.
With teeth knocked out and the short hair.
We even see flashbacks of her and her sister playing hockey together.
So I think and Craig said this in the podcast, the how we made your mother podcast. It was an error on their end. Mm-hmm. Because they knew Robin played these. That was in the story. It was going to be in the story. But yeah, I just thought that was weird. And it did remind me, though, that I think Robin has these issues with these guys because her dad first of all, her dad didn't want a girl.
Yeah.
Foremost. But secondly, he raised Robin to be independent by herself, not rely on anybody, so I think that's why she has the issues she has. Mm-hmm. I think Robin has daddy issues.
Yeah. I mean, she was also raised to be a boy.
Right.
Like, I think in one of the episodes down the line, she gives us her full name, and it's something like Robin Charles Scherbatsky Jr. Like, she's legally named after her father.
Yeah. And he says in flashbacks, like, good job, son, and things like that.
Yeah. So like when you said that earlier, I was like, wow, that makes so much sense. Yeah. She's devoid of any relationships with males because she's been devoid of relationships with her father her entire life.
So then I just think this whole episode was to advance Ted and Robin's story. Was the main takeaway from it. And remind us of who Barney is and who Lily and Marshall are.
Yeah.
But it was to advance those two.
Yeah.
Barney, Master of Disguise, throwback to that TV show. Barney kept changing costumes and pretending to be somebody else. And I think that was right around when Master of Disguise was out or about. So,
I think so. Yeah.
and the
Definitely within the same
rejections
time
Barney
frame.
kept getting. But my absolute favorite is when he got the girl's number. He took the dolphin have, and then she figured out it was him.
Yes.
You can't, and he's like, well, you can't stop me now. I'm calling you. She's like, well, I won't answer. He goes, you'll never know it's me. You don't know who I am. Like he just has to get that one up on her.
Yep. He's got to have
Not
the
about
last
sleeping
laugh.
with her at that point. It's about the challenge.
Exactly.
He just wants to complete the challenge,
Exactly.
which I can so relate to. It's not about getting to the top of the mountain. It's about trekking all the way up there and saying, haha, you said I couldn't do it. I did it.
Right. Yeah.
So I think like the moral of this episode for me is, so Robin's like, I'm not in love. I'm not ready to be in love. I can't do this relationship thing. I just don't get it. People want families and kids, and that's just not me. Where Ted's the opposite. You got Barney who's chasing every girl he can find.
Yeah.
And then you got Lily and Mark who are ready to settle down. And I think the moral for me of at least this episode, if I could take anything from this god awful episode, was that we're not all at the same place in our lives at the same time. And we too often think that we have to be somewhere we're not.
Yes, agreed.
And I think that's huge. And I think we've even talked about that prior.
I think that came up with the Okay Awesome episode too.
And I just think it's it's an ongoing theme throughout the series that there's people in the group, Marshall, Lily, it just all depends on the story, that feel like they need to be somewhere they're not by looking at other people. And it's just not how life works.
No, it's not how life works.
And that's really all I had on this one. I give it 2.5 blue French horns. And that's probably just because of the Robin and Lily and Marshall story.
I would say that's reasonable. I might go 2.8.
2.8. I'll take
2.8. Just because there's one scene in this episode that I love very, very much. And I think, at least for me personally, it saves the episode because it comes in like the halfway point.
The gay joke.
No.
Oh.
No.
Barnacle.
When it has something to do with the barnacle.
Okay.
When Barney is dressed up as the devil.
Yes, and then the angel.
The angel appears, and they're both like in Ted's ear about whether or not he should pee off the roof.
Yes.
And it's just cinematographically, it's just done so well. The part of that joke that I really love isn't the angel devil on Ted's shoulders. It's the angel at the end of that scene going, whatever, you guys got any weed? Because that's such a 2005 house party thing to do. Like, you interrupt someone's conversation, you act like you're super invested and interested. A couple of minutes go by, and then you're just like, well, really, I just came over here for some weed. So.
And I can even remember doing that. I didn't smoke weed, but I can remember doing that, like I'm on my last beer, scanning the room.
Like, who can I go?
That guy you carried around your 24 pack or whatever.
Yep.
So I'd be like, all right, them over there, I need to go have a conversation with them.
Yep.
And nonchalantly, they would be like, oh, did you need a beer? And I'd be like, oh, yeah, thank you. Like,
I'm going to find my buddy now.
Yeah. I could say, hey, throw him a beer. I couldn't tell you anything we talked about at all.
Yep, exactly.
So even we're not too off on this because Rotten Tomatoes has no score for this by popularity or by the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Wow.
There's just nothing.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. So I don't the digital camera when she's taking the pictures is fantastic because there were phones.
There were not phones. There were phones, but there weren't camera phones.
Cameras on phones. So that was and they talk about that in the episode we're on of How I Met Your Father, or How I Made Your Mother. On the podcast, I think me and you are one ahead of where we're at recording.
Yes.
They talk about that in the episode this week.
Okay.
So the Slutty Pumpkin didn't come.
She did not.
No payoff there. Um, I had to look up what a hanging Chad was because all these years I've never understood it.
Really?
So I finally Googled it, and it's from the Hillary Clinton election of when you punched the tickets with like actual poker, we didn't have digital voting, so you had to like poke it. And I remember these going in with my mom and dad.
Yeah.
And then when they were hanging, and the whole punch didn't go through it, like a hole puncher almost. It was a hanging Chad then because I didn't know which way it went.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was rumors, I guess, that in the Hillary Clinton election, there were a lot of hanging Chads.
Was it Hillary Clinton? I thought it was Gore and Bush.
I think it was Hillary. I could be wrong. I didn't Google that. I remember hearing that somewhere, but I could be totally wrong.
I mean, it could have happened for Hillary too. Who knows?
Well, Hillary usually only hangs people, so I guess.
Wow.
Yeah. They're gonna IP address me. I'm gonna be Epstein. Great.
Great. I'm gonna be Epstein by proxy.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
It's nice knowing you guys.
Yeah, it was a good run. 5 shows. Fantastic. 6, around 6. I got this episode wrong on here.
6?
It is 6. I put 5 on my sheet earlier. I had to change it.
Yeah. Just a funky,
I don't have anything
filler episode.
Yeah, I don't have anything else on this. I thought it was very boring.
I don't really either, to be quite honest with you. They've done other Halloween episodes, which
much better too.
Sure, we'll get to, and they do them a hell of a lot better.
This was definitely. Maybe it was good then because it was their first holiday episode. Maybe that was the hype.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
But yeah, again, I don't think it matters later to the payoff of the Slutty Pumpkin happened.
No, it definitely doesn't.
Then it all makes sense, which is great later. It's fantastic, and that episode's fabulous.
Yeah, that is a great episode.
But yeah, I mean, I do love how Barney explains Halloween. That everybody can unleash their hoe bag, and then he goes on a series of saying slutty police officers, and Lily's like, we get it, and he's like, nurse, and she's like, we get it. He's like, slutty nurse. But I mean, that's true. All that's true.
It is true. It's definitely true. I definitely took part in probably too many Halloween hoe bag attires.
Same.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, I just like to get the girls out, have them around.
You gotta do it. It's like we said last week. Tits will get you anything.
Yeah, I mean, I once dressed up as. I'll just tell a story since the rest of the podcast sucks. Well, the episode, which in turn makes the podcast not that great. So I was not old enough to buy alcohol yet, so I had to be. Wait, no, I was old enough. I had to be 21, 22. I was out in Akron, Ohio, because we're from Ohio. And I was walking. So I was at a party, left there to go to another party. I was walking there, and I dressed as the Pope. So I'm in my Pope outfit, the big hat on. I got like the fucking shepherd's whatever tie, I don't know, chain, whatever, raft. What do you call it? Canes. I don't fucking know. The cane and the staff. I'm just walking. Yeah, staff. Yeah.
Yeah. Chains.
Yeah, whatever. I don't.
Were you like a BDSM? Were you a BDSM?
Harry.
Were you a BDSM Pope? Why did you have chains?
So I don't know. That maybe I'm at a cross. So I'm walking there, and I'm like in my head, I'm like, just don't get beat up. Like, people are drunk. Like, this is like Akron. It gets a little rowdy here. It's not the best of neighborhoods. It's like a college neighborhood. And I just feel somebody grab me up. And I'm like, fuck. And I'm even more like, fuck, because I don't have money. So, like, I'm like, they're just going to beat my ass. Like, I can't even pay my way out of this.
They're going to be disappointed that they grabbed you and not somebody else because you don't have any money.
So the guy spins me around. He's like, we need you. And I'm like, okay, first of all, I have no fucking clue who you are. He's like, I know, but you're the Pope. Will you come and bless our house? And I'm like, oh, this is so me. I'm walking to the house. There's a dude on the porch fucked up. I mean, they must have been drinking all day. I get in, and the guy's like, all right, we'll get you the mic. And I said, well, I'm going to need a beer. And he said, why? I said, I got the holy beer. I got to get everybody with it.
Oh, I
So
love
he's
it. I
like,
love it.
I'll get you two, and I think we got like jungle juice. I'm like, bring it all. I'll bless
Bring
it.
it all.
We'll be, yeah,
Dear
we'll be all good. So I'm
fucking
sitting there
jungle
talking to
juice.
people. Like, he brings his roommates to me, and they're like on board. Like, everybody's on board, like as if I am the real Pope. Like, just full blown. Like, they're like shaking my hand, like, hello, Father. I'm like, all right. And you know me, I'm right in on it. I'm giving.
Right.
I'm like, bless you.
Any chance to cut a fucking promo.
Yeah. So I cut my thingy. I think I go in their kitchen. I stole a spatula or something because that was my thing for a while. I just stole a random piece of silverware or like a bowl or nothing that would harm anybody in knowing, but it gave me something to just leave with.
I did not know that about
Yeah.
you. That's the
So
first time. See, that's your connection to Lily.
yeah. So I'm walking out, and they're walking me out, and they're like, "You need to do one more blessing," and they're starting to get like aggressive. Okay, we're borderline not getting funny anymore. Like, you need to have our friend stop puking. You're not the real Pope if he doesn't stop puking after a prayer.
Did you
And I'm
claim
like,
to be the real Pope?
dude, I'm like, this is like, they're like, yeah, we're gonna be so pissed. Like, they're getting rowdy. Like, I'm like, all right, like, whatever. So I'm like, oh, Lord, let him stop puking, save his soul from the demons of alcohol. This dude stops puking.
Shut up.
Grabs a beer. I shit you the fuck not.
Shut up.
I swear on everything. It was the greatest day of my life.
Damn.
So I quickly leave because I'm like, I got like a small window. This dude's definitely puking again.
Right. You got to get out while you have time.
Deprive. As soon as he sips that next beer, he's blowing it all back out.
Yep.
So I get to the place I'm going. I pull out the spatula or whatever I stole. I was like, I met your neighbors. I slapped it down and I grabbed a beer.
Oh my God.
That was my Halloween claim to fame. I got to be the Pope and bless this house.
That is a phenomenal story.
It's one of my top 10 favorite stories for sure.
Honest to God, I don't think you've ever told me that story. That's a fantastic story.
Yeah, it was. I cannot believe that dude stopped puking. I was like, and you know when you do something and something happens and you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, how did I get that lucky? Like,
right. Seriously.
Right, they're chanting me off the porch like, Pope, Pope, Pope. I'm like, bless you all. Hell yeah.
Bless you all. May the force be with you.
The cop's on his horse laughing. The cop, I'm like, bless you and your horse.
Oh my God.
It was fucking great.
Damn.
And then I'm telling everybody, and then I'm like, they're not believing me. I'm like, dude, we'll go back down there. It's like 2 blocks over. Like, I will go back and walk in like I own that party.
They would probably let you too.
They would have. We were trying to corral a small group, but it just, once you start drinking, they're doing shot. We all got sidetracked.
Yeah.
Which is probably for the better because I don't know if I could have performed a second miracle on that occasion.
Probably not. I feel like you only get one.
That was my life. That was my one lifetime miracle.
Getting that guy to stop puking.
Which, I mean, they really could have got bad for me. They were really getting aggressive.
That's fair.
Testing my powers as the Pope that I never claimed to be. Oh, shit. All right, we'll end it there.
God, gotta love Akron U students.
Yeah, shout out Akron U. If you have any good Halloween stories or want to tell us any Halloween stories or have tasted the Tootsie Roll drink,
let us know.
Let us know. tip2tippodcast@gmail.com. Facebook, Tips Tip Pod, TikTok, Tips Tip Pod, our website, tip2tippod.com. You can comment on the video when it goes up on Spotify. Please, 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 for the love of God, subscribe to us, whether it's on Apple, YouTube, Spotify. We've got 3 new subscribers this week.
Nice.
Yeah, so if we can keep doing that, that's going to be huge. I'm going to clip that.
Hell yeah.
I don't know why I did the cross. I'm back in Pope mode. Here we go. We want to keep getting subscribers. That's the plan. Stay tuned. We've been talking about doing some bonus episodes, maybe watching a rom-com or something and talking about that. Just some fun stuff in store, maybe like a top 10 funniest How I Met Your Mother moments, or taking a list and seeing if we agree with it.
Ooh, I like that. We should do a tier list.
Yeah, like we'll take somebody's online list or somebody's TikTok or something. I can play it and then we can discuss how we feel about it.
I love that. The possibilities
Yeah,
are endless.
that's all I got. But we got things coming. We got things in the cooker. This is only episode 6, and
We
so
have
far, out of
more.
the 6, this has been the least engaging episode to watch. I was just like, oh, is it over yet? Like,
Agreed.
I
But you
even
know
paused
what?
it and restarted it and was like, it's still
It's
too long.
it still wasn't the worst episode of TV I've ever seen though. So like
No, that's
How I
true.
Met Your Mother made a mid episode, but it's still probably better than any episode of Friends. Just
Yeah,
saying.
Bart. But clip that. It's gonna be 1,000 views on YouTube right there. Dog and Friends.
It's my second dog of Friends on
Third,
this
third dog. You had
third
one in
dog.
person. There was another one on episode 2 or 3, and now this one.
Well, sorry, Jennifer
Keep it crap.
Aniston.
I just clicked the shit
Oh my
and have to
God.
listen to it 800 times while I'm clipping it.
I love it.
Plays in the background.
Well, we know who I'm loyal to, and it's not
Oh
Friends.
man, How I Met Your Mother for life.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
so we'll be back next week. Next week episode is actually, you think I know, but I should up by now.
I believe it's the Matchmaker episode.
It is the Matchmaker episode, which is a pretty good one, I think.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good one. That will definitely have some That's why they talked about technology, and that will definitely have some conversations about technology.
Hell yeah.
So, already up top.
Up top.
Later.
Bye.